Good afternoon. I'm James Wolfe, and in 2 weeks' time I'm going to be joining you to conduct with you a simulation on cardiovascular disease in low-resource settings. As you know, the epidemiologic transition currently underway in the developing world has led to a rapid increase in degenerative and human-created diseases. Cardiovascular disease, or CVD, now ranks as the #1 cause of death in developed countries, and by 2012 it most likely will be the leading cause of death in the developing world. Preventive strategies addressing tobacco use, prevention of high blood pressure and high cholesterol and diabetes, increasing physical activity and reducing obesity through improved diets are all critical to reducing deaths from CVD. Clinical care, currently available in the developed world, is expensive, and developing countries must find ways to deliver cost-effective clinical care, along with their efforts at prevention. So in this session, I hope that we'll have a chance to explore some of the strategies and approaches for meeting the rapidly emerging challenge of CVD in low-resource and middle-income countries. So what are our objectives for the simulation? Well, our first is to have you be able at the end to describe the importance and scope of cardiovascular disease in the developing world, to also identify and discuss risk factors for CVD, and to describe evidence-based approaches for reducing risk of cardiovascular disease. We'd also like you to identify and discuss options for prevention and treatment of CVD in the developing world. And finally, to be able to advocate for the importance of addressing the emerging epidemic of NCD and CVD in low and middle income countries. So let me tell you a little bit about the simulation that we're going to conduct in 2 weeks' time. The simulation is really an extended role play, and the title of this simulation is Reducing Deaths from Cardiovascular Disease in Bekaraljis. In the simulation, you each will be asked to play a role of a member on an expert committee that has been charged with reducing cardiovascular deaths from cardiovascular disease in Bekaraljis. And the week before the simulation begins, Yesham and Susie will provide you with your assignment, a description of your role, and a packet of information to educate you about the situation not only in Bekaraljis but also with regard to your specific area of expertise. One word about simulations is that simulations really depend on the players in the simulation to bring the richness of their own experience as well as the role that they're assigned into the world, the simulated world that we will build together. And so it's extremely important for you to prepare for the simulation by learning about your role and thinking a little bit about the issues that will come up in the simulation, mastering the material. Part of your job as a member of this expert committee will be to educate other members on the committee about the things that you feel passionate about and know about. So it is absolutely essential to prepare, and I would encourage you not only to read the information that's provided to you, but to read around that information and really develop your expertise in the area in which you have been assigned. I think if you do this, we will have an extremely exciting simulation and follow-up discussion after we're done. So I'd just like to leave you with that thought and a little bit more about the simulation. The scenario, which you'll read in your script, really involves a public health emergency. Tragically, the 50-year-old leader of Bekaraljis and founder of the country was suddenly and unexpectedly stricken with a massive heart attack and died. And the country, in response to this, became hyper aware of the importance of cardiovascular disease and the extent to which it was present in their country. And in honor of the president and in response to his death, this expert committee has been formed to try to address this issue of cardiovascular disease in the country. So that's a way of background. You'll hear a lot more and learn a lot more about Bekaraljis and the situation there when you get your packets from Yeshem and Susie. And so with that, I will say goodbye and hope that in 2 weeks' time I will see you, and we will have an excellent and fruitful simulation together. So take care, and